Hello and welcome back to the TGH Overwatch League recap. Day 4 of Week 5 was the last day of Stage 2's round-robin phase, and had a couple of key deciding matches to determine seeding. However, nobody was really expecting too many upsets here. The first match of the day was the Dallas Fuel against the London Spitfire. The Fuel started their attack on Volskaya Industries. They couldn't get the first point though, and the Spitfire expectedly took the first map with ease. The second map, Lijiang Tower, was a bit tougher for the Spitfire, but they ended up taking it 2-1. Hollywood was where Fuel really started to rev their engines. They took all 3 points on their first attack on the back of Rascal's Widowmaker. London also grabbed all 3 points, but since Fuel had significant time bank advantage, they were able to close it out quickly in the first round by securing point A. This brought the series to 1-2 and sparked the flame of a reverse sweep upset. As fiery as Dallas looked on Hollywood, their dreams were crushed on Route 66. They fell short of the final point, and the Spitfire were able to close out the map. They took the series 3-1. The second match of Saturday was the Valiant taking on the Excelsior. LA started Volskaya well, getting 2 points. The Excelsior answered with their own, even cleaner offense and were able to hold Los Angeles off point B the second time around. This gave them a clear shot to the win, taking both points in the second round. Nepal was a great look for New York, taking the win at 2 points to none in a typically clean fashion. Hollywood gave the Valiant no reprieve as they couldn't capture point A. New York took full advantage of their strong defense and were able to grab the first point themselves, winning the series with 3 points. With how clean the Excelsior had looked, it was hard to imagine LA grabbing a map for themselves. However, they did put up a fight on Route 66, taking 2 points on their offense. New York was just too damn strong, however, and took the series 4-0. The last match of the day was the most important by far. The Los Angeles Gladiators had to win their match 4-0 against Boston to keep their playoff hopes alive. Unfortunately, their 1-2 loss on Volskaya killed that dream quite quickly. They didn't look very tight on their point B push, so Philadelphia took the spot happily. Next up was Lijiang Tower, and Boston striker manhandled the Gladiators and took the map 2-0. The second stage ended with 3 teams heading into the playoffs, all 3 deserving of their spots. We had the prior first seed taking the first seed yet again in the New York Excelsior, the prior stage champions and the London Spitfire grabbing the second seed, and the up-and-coming Philadelphia Fusion bringing up the rear in third. Remember that the series format for playoffs is slightly different than the regular season, as the only important thing is that a victor is decided, map score is irrelevant, and the match will conclude as soon as 3 maps are won by a single team. The first match was the Fusion and the Spitfire. The Spitfire started off on Gibraltar by creating an insane defense before the first point. They held ground as Philadelphia couldn't even get point A. London quickly picked off EQO's Genji and stormed the point on their attack, taking the first map in convincing fashion. Nepal started off with a very different tone. EQO got some redemption as his Dragon Blade won them the first point. They were also able to hold off Birding's Junkrat from getting the Spitfire the second point. The Fusion tied it up at 1-1. Hanamura opened up looking great for the Fusion as well, but it took them until overtime to get the second point. At this point, they were looking questionable, but they were able to hold off the Spitfire off point A, taking a lead in the series 2-1. London took home field advantage on Kings Row, but Carp's Hanzo snuck point A for the Philadelphia squad, making it tough for London to get their footing. Philly continued to push down the streets in good time, taking the third point with over 2 minutes remaining. However, London took to the offense with blood in their eyes and ended up taking all 3 points in an impressive 4 minutes in the time bank. This gave them an easy second round offense to take the map and tie up the series 2-2. Route 66 would be the decider of this series, with both teams having very strong showings in prior maps. Philadelphia had another solid attack, getting 3 points with a minute and a half remaining in the bank. The Spitfire came back looking good too, but Philadelphia managed to hold the last line and secure the win 3-2. The finals kicked off on the last map of the previous series, Route 66. Philadelphia seemed to carry their momentum forward and quickly get near the third point, but New York held well and didn't let them complete the map. However, the Fusion seemed to have their defense on lock as they held Excelsior away from the second point. The Fusion went up 1-0 in the series. Both teams looked great on Ligier, with the Fusion coming out on top after dominating the third point. They were up 2-0 against the first seed at this point. Volkskaya was up next, and this was match point for Philadelphia. However, nobody was counting out the New York squad at this point. It seemed like the break did the Excelsior some good, as the Fusion weren't able to even get the first point after looking dominant in the first two maps. New York then stormed onto the point and took it with several minutes to spare. The comeback was beginning to mount, and it was looking scary. New York's defense carried over seamlessly into Hollywood. They prevented the Fusion from getting point B and took their time taking the win on this map. This initiated a second fifth game of the night, making these finals especially electric. Gibraltar was the final map, and the Fusion looked hungry. Jonak and the gang looked hungrier though, as they took a crazy team fight near the last point to hold the Fusion to 2 points. Their offense looked as clean as ever too, even under the immense pressure of this final map. GG, New York Excelsior. Make sure you keep it here for more great Overwatch League recaps. You can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at the links below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and keep it here at the Game House for all your sports and esports needs.